Hey everybody, welcome to a podcast. Today I have a couple of friends with me, and we are going to be discussing the possibility for Fire Emblem 16. This is of course the Fire Emblem game on Switch that was sadly not announced in the Nintendo Mini Direct, but may be announced in the future, and we will definitely see it at E3 at the very latest, or at least I have my fingers crossed anyways. So I will let my guests introduce themselves, starting with somebody I've had on this podcast style thing before, back when we did the Rep and Refinery update. Please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Ben. I've talked to Zerk before. I'm glad to be back.
Thank you.
I don't want to be here.
You have a
Damn it!
This was my idea, and
This was your idea,
hi.
Fish.
What's going on? It's Fish. You have no idea who I am. How you doing?
Before we go any further, though, Zerk, you mentioned that you think E3 the latest. Here's the thing. Do either of you follow the Prince of Iris on Twitter? Oscar is his screen name.
Oh, he beamed me
He's the
one
guy.
time.
He's the guy that really loves Crom.
I know who you're talking about because he freaking beamed me because of my dumbass thumbnail.
He actually
Which
has,
one?
He actually has some. Yeah, which one? He actually has some insider information. Is the thing about Fire Emblem 16, and like he actually does have reliable source information about like I don't know who his source is, but he has reliable inside information, and he says that like people like assuming that now that it hasn't been released at the Direct Mini, people are thinking, well, it has to be E3 now. He's like, no, you're so far off. So I think what he said at one point is that like it wouldn't be announced at the Direct. Like this was before the Direct happened. He was like, it won't be announced on the Direct on the 11th, but it will be shown off by the end of January. So we're gonna see this soon.
Ooh, ooh,
I wouldn't
my fingers.
see after the Direct Mini. My guess as to when it would probably have been shown off would have been at a big press conference on March 2nd or 3rd to celebrate the Switch's 1-year anniversary.
I don't think.
How much do you guys want to bet they're just gonna release the trailer on its own?
Oh fuck, if they do that, that'd just be the freaking goodest thing. I'd hate that, but at the same time I'd love that. It's just like, oh, here's Fire Emblem Switch, here you go, you fucks.
They won't do that.
It's like
they will.
3 in the morning. Reggie's just like, here's the new Fire Emblem title.
The game is fun.
The game. They won't do that. There will probably be another Direct, probably in February. But I'm gonna stand by what Oscar said, and I'm gonna believe him that Fire Emblem Switch will be shown off by the end of January. So I'm gonna buy into that.
Well,
maybe it'll get its own game-specific Direct, despite us never having seen any of it. It could totally be unprecedented.
well, I mean, what he's saying makes complete sense because Fates, Echoes, and I think the localized version of Fire Emblem Awakening were all revealed in first quarter Directs.
Hold on, I actually have an image for this. Hold on, I can confirm or deny this right now.
The only
No. Fire Emblem Awakening's localization was announced in an October Nintendo Direct.
Okay.
So there's not a ton of precedence for January being the month to reveal Fire Emblem info, but
And also
it's
consider
likely.
that Tokyo Mirage got its, well, it wasn't the announcement trailer for the project. Tokyo Mirage got its first reveal trailer of what it actually was, like Tokyo Mirage, in an E3 Direct.
No. It was April 1st. It was the April 1st Direct. From
Oh,
a few
it
years
was.
ago.
Never mind. I'm stupid.
It's still technically. No, that's not first quarter. Okay. So speaking
Don't,
on like.
don't worry, guys. I got all the dates. Don't worry, I'm good. Just get it. You can't see it, but
Good
I just
idea
dabbed.
bringing you on, Finn.
So this is a good So you said like the Awakening localization, not Awakening itself, but the localization was announced in like first quarter, right?
I thought
No,
it was, but Ben confirmed
Awakening's
it was October.
localization was announced on the October 2012 Direct.
Okay. Speaking of localizations, though, segue. Do you guys think that it's going to be Treehouse localizing it, or do you think it's going to be 8.4 doing it?
Don't know, don't really care, gonna be honest.
I do care because I feel like this isn't me being like, oh, like English to Japanese can only be done good by like 8.4. It's just from the reason why is because Treehouse really doesn't have a good track record when it comes to localizing more recent Fire Emblem titles. Because they did Warriors and Fates, and both didn't really turn out great in some of the English departments. Like, granted, those weren't good games overall, so I am willing to give Treehouse the benefit of the doubt. But it's just they don't have a good track record when it comes to those things.
See,
I'll give you Fates. But I don't know. I think Warriors dialogue turned out really well in English.
I think it's not the dialogue that I have an issue with. It's some of the voice direction. It just felt like it felt really rushed.
I think that's a separate issue from the Treehouse, though.
That's true. Okay, no, that's fair. I'll give you that.
Also, Warriors had a different voice director than Heroes does.
Well, that's Sights, and Sights did Awakening.
Patrick Seitz did Awakening, but he did not do Fates or Heroes. So that's
right. But it's also weird because Patrick Seitz has done fucking incredible dubs, namely Your Lie in April and Anohana, and those are absolutely fucking incredible dubs. So I feel like there has to be an X factor to the localization and voice direction of Fire Emblem Warriors that made it end up weaker than it was.
I mean, yeah, there's always one or more things in trouble, but I think we're getting a little off topic here, so let's rein it back.
We're totally getting off topic.
We're off topic.
So reining it back to FE16 and who possibly could localize it, for me, I think it's a toss-up between 8.4 and Treehouse. The reason I think it's a toss-up is because the fans will really push for 8.4 to localize it, and one thing I congratulate Intelligent Systems on regularly is listening to their fans, which they do a phenomenal job of. So I think 8.4 might get some push from Intelligent Systems, but on the contrary side, I could also see Treehouse getting to localize it because Fire Emblem has become kind of a big budget franchise, so its Switch release being localized in-house would kind of make a lot of sense in that regard, just from a business standpoint.
I think with the blowback after Fates, just because, like, now I can't speak for the rest of the series before Awakening, because I don't know who localized Shadow Dragon. If either of you do,
it was 8.4 as well.
Was it 8.4?
Yeah, it was actually.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I do think that people look to Fire Emblem and use that at, like, people like to cherry pick with the Treehouse because, like, despite what people despite what you might believe if you just like search them on Twitter, they're actually really fucking good at working a script. Like, they did all the Paper Mario games, and
they did Kid Icarus as well, and Kid Icarus is like a fucking phenomenal game.
Is the thing. So
yeah.
Like I feel like people need to take it a little more case by case, and that's why I don't really care if Treehouse does the localizing. I prefer 8.4 just because they have a really good track record, and they seem to really care about the series. So like,
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you raise a really good point there, Ben. It should really be handled as a case by case basis. Like, one botched job from Treehouse, I don't think should completely absolve any faith in them. We should be wary going into any future Fire Emblem games localized by them, but there's a good chance that Intelligent Systems, who obviously created the game, will have a big say in either who localizes it or how they localize it.
No, I think we're more likely to see 8.4, honestly, just because, like, I mean, it's just because of A, the blowback from Fates, and B, 8.4's track record. I think we're more likely to see 8.4. I don't mind if it's Treehouse. Like I said, Treehouse does the Paper Mario games. They do the Pokemon games, and those are really good localizations for giant text-heavy RPGs. Like, I don't know. They're like I said a minute ago, there has to be an X factor with why Fates ended up the way it did, and we'll probably never know.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So localization aside, Fire
Actually,
Emblem 16.
one more point on the subject of localization.
All right, yeah, fire.
When do you guys think we're going to do you think we'll get a worldwide release, or do you think there will be a gap, and how long do you think that gap would be?
There's always
Given the track record of the past year, I would assume about a month.
Echoes had a really short turnaround from announcement to release to worldwide release. So I think if we are going to see a release gap, it's not going to be very long, 1 month, 2 months tops, and then a week after the North American release, we'll get the European release. If not, then we'll just get a Japanese release and then a worldwide release that will be both Europe and North American release. And
okay.
I think the timeline for this, if it's gonna come out this year, which maybe, I don't know, if it's gonna come out this year.
I think they said back in last year's Fire Emblem Direct that it was slated for 2018.
Well, it is okay. So if that's the case, I think it's gonna be fall. I think this is gonna be one of their big fall pusher sales thing titles.
Do you mean wait? But what do you mean by one of their big fall pushes?
They'll release
what
it.
month?
They'll release it late October, early November, so that way it'll hit Black Friday and Christmas.
I don't think. Okay, Fire Emblem's gotten a lot bigger, but I don't think Fire Emblem's big enough to be a holiday title yet.
Well, they released Xenoblade as a holiday title.
They released Xenoblade after Black Friday, though.
That's true, but it did hit Christmas.
Hopefully they're
Mario
not
Odyssey
dumb enough to release it like a week before Mario Odyssey. Am I right?
Oh,
Mario
God.
Odyssey was the holiday juggernaut.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It totally was.
That's what they slated as their big holiday title from. And even then, they didn't wait until November. They just here you go, have it a month before you expected. So, fuck.
Yeah, they were actually really good. I was 99% convinced that Xenoblade would get delayed, but who knows?
No, they managed to get it out in 2017.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
So hopefully, Fire Emblem 16 on the Switch will be the same story. Now. Okay, so now that we've got release gaps sorted out, so Fish, you're in agreement that you think it'll be a month, 2 months-ish release gap-wise?
I think it'll, I think there will be I don't think we're going to have release gaps as wide as they used to be with Fates and Awakening, because I think with the popularity of Fire Emblem at this point, I think Nintendo has more of a hands-on approach to, okay, if we can schedule it like this, we can get it here, we can get the American release like this. I think at this point they're less of the mindset of, dude, fuck it, and more of the mindset of, yeah, we can make a profit off of this. We just need to aim right here. So I would assume that they currently already have a localization studio, either in-house or 8.4 working on it right now during production, so that way they can get it out around about a month after it comes out in Japan.
I'd like
Absolutely.
to raise something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had a worldwide singular release date.
oh, it did, right?
Really?
I think there is actually a solid chance that Fire Emblem 17... Whoa, getting ahead of myself. I think there's a solid chance that Fire Emblem 16 could absolutely come out worldwide on the same day.
Well, that rustles my jimmies.
That sounds
It makes me hard.
that is a really awesome precedent to set, I think. But I think if we are going to see a worldwide release, then that more or less confirms a last quarter release date in my mind, anyways.
I think it could be earlier than that. Actually, I think it could be summer.
Oh, that's pretty generous, but I can see where you're coming from with that regard.
I don't know.
I think your hopes are up too high. I do think your hopes are up too high. I
think September at the latest, honestly.
I'll give you late September, Ben. I
will actually give you mid-September.
I just think September is at the latest. I don't think it's gonna be a fourth quarter. I don't know. I think it could be summer.
All right. Freaking YOLO mode prediction right here. Friday, September 14th.
Why?
They like releasing games on
What?
Fridays.
I mean,
Has it?
I guess I don't know. It's just a little random, but
All
hey,
right.
good YOLO predict. If you're right on that, fuck. Hey, if you're right on that, props. That
All right.
Okay. So we've talked about that. So who wants
Okay.
to go first on dropping a want or expect?
Okay, so I figure I should just explain to the viewers at home how we think we're gonna structure this.
The viewers at home.
Yes, the viewers at home.
Fuck, you think this is a game show?
I'm just imagining Kyle's like sitting at his desk, like listening to this podcast, and he's just like, "Huh, that's me."
I forget what Kyle looks like sometimes, so I just imagined a fucking winged Pikmin just like perking up in his bed, just like, hey, that me.
It's
I
like
forget that Kyle
February,
is
and he's
just-
pink, and he's just like, "Oh, that's me."
I forget that Kyle is just this NPC looking ass dude with a normal fucking beard.
With
Okay,
a smile on his face, like all the time.
With a smile on his face and a Korin waifu pillow.
Yep.
I have an AU that Kyle is secretly Santa's son because he's always so fucking jolly all the time.
Kyle is way too happy all the fucking time.
I think we've talked about Kyle more than Fire Emblem 16. Get focused, guys. Come on.
Okay.
This is now a Kyle discussion.
Okay, so viewers at home, how it's gonna work is we're gonna go around and then each of us are going to give a desired thing and then what we expect might actually happen. So we're gonna do this however many times until this podcast inevitably reaches probably about an hour and 30 minutes long.
Okay.
So-
So I said, hey, what localization studios are we gonna do? So should we just like go down with next dude? Ben, do you have a thing you wanna roll with or what?
I mean, if Zerk's okay with me going next, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah, Ben, absolutely.
Oh wait, no, I raised the release date thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Okay.
Zerk,
So
you
then I
next.
guess it's my turn. Oh joy. Oh joy. Okay, so my want for the new Fire Emblem Switch game is I want them to take a risk in terms of the story. Like, it doesn't have to be something revolutionary or groundbreaking. I just want them to take a risk. Like, this is purely like shot in the dark headcanon, but I've always wondered, like, Fire Emblem is always so medieval, and like, what if one nation invented gunpowder? And then, like, how would that affect the power balance of that Fire Emblem world? I think that would be like a really interesting story to tell that would rely a lot less on the sort of the supernatural elements, and the final boss would just be a dude with a freaking musket instead of, you know, a dragon.
So
That's my
But the musket
want.
is shaped like a dragon.
so that's not so much just a story thing. You're saying aesthetically as well. You want them to like really push their boundaries a bit.
Yeah, like
just
push,
take a risk, you know.
like take a risk, both in terms of the medieval setting and whatnot. Like, one thing I was really excited for going to Fates was Hoshido, because it was kind of like we had a little bit of an awakening with Seiri and Yenfei, but it was like the first really like, this is an Eastern nation in a Fire Emblem game, and
It was
I'd
the
really
first
like,
like truly new aesthetic we've had for the series, honestly.
yeah, and I'd like to see them try something else like that. Like, one I would really like to see is one that's based on the Turks and the Ottomans. I think would be really cool, like just aesthetically. Although also a Slavic / Tsarist Russia kind of Fire Emblem nation would also be really neat.
Fire Emblem, more like Cold Emblem.
I'm just imagining there's some girl with like a Russian hat. She's tall girl, she's got a hat, she's wearing a winter coat, and then Zerk looks at her and he's just like, yeah, no, that's my waifu for this game, guys.
She's tall, she's got a hat, and she's just like, she's just got like she's wearing like the tightest fucking snow pants, and her thighs are killing it.
Yeah,
and
that
Zerk's like, yep, that's it. All right, best game.
Dude, we should make this game. This sounds great.
This sounds awful.
This actually I'd be cool with a like, I like the not so much the like the Russian part of it, but like I think like a Fire Emblem set in a like a more tundra, like coldish like place, rather than like just like generic medieval land of most Fire Emblems.
Yeah,
I do agree, not because I think
like
so here's my reasoning why I agree.
Hey,
I
guys.
think it's
Did you know Felicia is from the Ice Tribe of her world?
Oh no, we knew. So here's why I really think that's a good idea. If you go towards more like a wintry landscape, then generally what most people do with wintry landscapes is there's snow and a mountain, and then there's snowy woods, and then that's fucking it. Occasionally you get like, here's a snowy village, here's a snowy castle. I really want them to experiment with how you can really like make snow places, you know? Like, I want to see a fucking palace made of ice, and then like have like ice fires that are purple and shit that mess with the coloration of a map. That sounds dope. I want them to mess with their colors.
Can we have some fucking ice magic, my boys?
Yeah, I want that. Ice volcano.
Can we get Fimbelvetter?
Fimblevetter.
That works.
It was okay. So that's my want. I want them to take a risk with the story and the setting. I
agree. If I can just add to that, just like what I would want as far as the risk.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
I don't know if Fish has an aesthetic or like thematic risk that he wants them to do, but I'd like them to go whole hog on, like, they've had this idea floating forever. I want them to go whole hog with like a modern or like not too distant future emblem. Like, I think that could be really like I don't know what they
like
would
Advanced
do.
Wars but Fire Emblem.
I don't know what the fuck they'd do with it, but I'd lose my mind.
Like, just make it fucking good is what you want.
Yeah, just make it cool.
Yeah.
Put it in space. Why not? Who cares?
I personally think baby steps on that kind of thing, but that's also the same total Nintendo Kings of Left Field. They just might do that. It's like, hey, here's the new Fire Emblem. It's just set
It's
modern
like, what
day.
the fuck is this?
Yeah. So my want is for them to take more risks, and then conversely, my expectation is that when we inevitably get the release trailer, we'll see a big burly dude in black/purple armor with a beard and or a crown, and he's gonna be our new discount Zephiel.
That's a trope we brought up earlier. I have one last thing. I'm gonna say this, and then we'll go into a bit of like then I'll go into my topic of like villains that we expect and what we want.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping we get from the new Fire Emblem is, I don't really have anything in terms of like taking a risk in terms of like setting or gameplay or anything like that. Whenever I think about risks, I always think of what they're gonna do with the story, and what I want from a risk is, so like you know how in the beginning of a lot of these modern Fire Emblem titles, like it started with Awakening and it's gone into, I think it's continued on into Echoes in terms of like air quotes mainline titles, and usually they'll have like some horrific event happening at the beginning, less so with Fates. They just have like something horrific happening, and then like that happens towards the end of the game, and it's always just like, oh no, it's fine. I don't want that to be fine. My idea for the risk is that they show you that this character could possibly die, and then no matter what you fucking do, they could put in like the whole Persona role-playing thing where like you can pick vocal options and you can do different things and whatever. Doesn't matter. At the end of the game, that person dies, and you know that they're going to die, and I want that to be their risk.
So you want them
Fish.
to subvert our
Hey,
expectations with
I do.
Hey, Fish.
I do.
Hey, Fish.
Yes.
No more fucking premonitions.
No,
Okay.
the reason why I'm saying that they should do that is because if they do the premonition, they better just fucking kill the person at this point, because I am so sick and tired of, nah, they're fine.
Yeah, that'd actually be a really good subversion, honestly.
If they subverted the premonition thing by, like, doing that, cool. That would be...
I'm cool with it.
That would
be cool.
It would be really super ballsy. I like the idea of them subverting it, but at the same time, I just really don't want to see another premonition.
See, here's the thing. Like, the thing with the premonitions is that I feel like now Awakening, Echoes, and Warriors have it. I feel like Fates' premonition is like so low key, and like you get to that point in the story so fast that like I sometimes just forget that there is a premonition in Fates until someone's like, "Hey, that was there." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and has that really cool cutscene with Xander and Ryoma squaring off.
That is the best cutscene.
That was the best part of Fates, man.
Xander and Ryoma.
That's not true. My personal favorite part of Fates is at the end of Conquest and Takumi shoots you. So
Yeah, that's
anyways,
pretty good.
premonitions, right?
I like every time Corrin dies. All the way.
Every time I lose the
That's
chapter,
rude.
that's my
it's
favorite
sad.
part.
He should be a good character, okay?
Every time Corrin gets revived, I weep.
That's fair.
I play
because,
on
like,
casual mode
they
just
do
so
that
I
too
can
much.
kill Corrin at the beginning of every chapter.
We've gone too far. We've gone too far. We're insulting him too
You
much.
can't kill Corrin at the beginning of every chapter. You get a game over.
No, you won't. In Fates, if Corrin dies in casual mode, it's only if you lose all your dudes.
Oh,
This
really?
is true.
Yep.
This is true. This is not bullshit.
Oh, hey. Okay. No, go ahead. Kill Corrin.
Yeah.
Like
He's
I don't
really under
look,
level,
man,
but
the-
fuck it. At least Xander's a hard boss now.
So,
Anyways,
okay.
So Fish, that was your.
hold on. You said, see, when you said the want an expectation, I thought like you were gonna like make an expectation as to like the aesthetic thing, because you said you wanted them to take a risk, and then your expectation was like almost completely unrelated.
Oh yeah.
Do you have?
I did what? Did I make an expectation?
No. Zerk. He
Yeah,
had the,
'cause
he
I
wants them
said,
to take a
like,
risk,
taking
but
a
then he
risk
said
with the
when he
settings. And then I described exactly what would happen in the trailer when they revealed Discount Zephiel.
like is
Okay,
is
his
that, like,
expectation
is
is that it's going to be like, is that there's going to be some kind of risk taking, and then when he said expectation, when he says, "Oh, there's going to be Discount Zephiel," it's just him saying they're not going to take a risk.
Oh, okay.
More or
yeah,
less.
actually, I kind of agree with that. I think aesthetically speaking, they're gonna play it pretty safe, and we're probably gonna see just another, you know, another Western medieval emblem, which, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Me.
As long as there's
Me.
good characters in it, I think it'll be fine.
As long as they make it look cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Fish. So
As long as everyone is played by Matt Mercer, it's cool.
Especially the girls.
So Fish, your want was for them to subvert the premonition, correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Koiksei, so what's your expectation?
So, my expectation is that there's not going to be there's not going to be a premonition. That's just my expectation. And what they're going to do is they're going to just start you off. Like, it's just going to be like Path of Radiance. It's going to be like Path of Radiance, Sacred Stones, FE7 level starting you off, where it's just like Sacred Stones just kind of like throws you into the middle of the narrative, and it's just like, shit's fucked, and you're like, oh god, shit's fucked. Whereas in FE7, it's just like, like
Island.
normal world and stuff.
Highland.
Here's the world. Have fun.
Highland. I fucking
Yeah.
terrible.
Here's a world and a waifu. Have fun.
Yeah. Anyways, Fish, is that all, or you got anything else?
That is my so
Ben.
my want is that they subvert the premonition, and my expectation is that they're done with the premonition.
All right,
Okay.
Ben.
Okay. Here's what I want. I want them to get an entirely new key artist. I don't like yeah, I love Hidari, I love Kozaki. I love Wada Sachiko. I want them to get just a whole new key artist to breathe some good ass fresh life into these characters. Maybe I know the popular choice is Hakan, the one artist from Heroes who just has a goddamn dominance over color. I don't know. I don't care. Just I want a new key artist. I want someone new so I can look to their art and be like, "Fuck, I'm hard."
That's a good thing. Whose topic is it right now, by the way? So that way I just know the order.
It's Ben's.
Okay. Wait, did I thought
the order?
They should get Soida. They should get Soida Epi, the guy that did Arden and Dorcas.
Oh my god.
Heroes. They should get him.
Soida Ipe.
So is our thing right now is just like artists we want? Is that just what we're doing?
No,
right
what
now?
I'm saying is I just want a new key artist entirely.
Freaking Soida Ipe. I posted on Twitter an image of Geb, that one boss from Sacred Stones who's like super fat, and I said, yo, when he gets added to Heroes, Soida Ipai should draw him. And he freaking RT'd it, and it was like, oh my god.
Soida Ipai is just a fucking shit poster, honestly.
He really is. I personally, my vote for a new key artist, if we get one, is Asatani Toyomo. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He/she is the artist who did Ephraim, Erica, Berkut, and Ira.
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
That sounds. I don't know. See, I don't know how I feel about that because like, they have like some really gorgeous stuff, but I don't know if they're gonna nail it in terms of like key art. Because like key art has to, like that's when it comes down to like portraits and like art like that and things like that. I want them. I like, do I want them? Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. But I don't know, because like you have to draw a portrait of them, and like
you're saying you're saying like as good as they've done the redesigns for the characters and Heroes, you're not sure how they could do an entire original cast.
It's a mixture of I don't know if they're going to be able to do an entire original cast, and I don't know how well their artwork is going to flow into making each character feel unique. Because you have to do a lot with color play and like making each person feel like you got to do a lot, and I'm not sure how good this person is with like original character designs.
It's funny that you bring that up because there was a post going around that was like comparing Ira and Erica's facial features, and basically the conclusion that the guy reached was Ira and Erica's art are literally the same face, just Ira is a grumpy Erica with a different eye color.
That's what I'm saying. Same with Sheeta, by the way. Geb made a shit post about it and just said that it was there was happy Erica, normal Erica, and then angry Erica.
Okay, that's fair. I
still really like
on the flip side of that
art.
I think that like given how these artists just like they don't just grab random people. They do grab like genuine illustrators like that usually have like, you know, a resume that you can go back and look at. Like I've discovered a lot of really fucking great artists just through playing Heroes. So I think we can put some faith in if they like, and it doesn't even have to be someone from Heroes is what I'm just like I think an entirely new key artist would just be really nice, just to get a new style.
So I have a proposition for a possible new artist. I don't think they're gonna be here because like they are employed by a different studio, so I highly doubt it. But just before I say this, Zerk, you have something you wanna throw in here?
I think we're gonna touch on this towards the end in a bit more detail, but I just want to quickly go back to the Reddit leaked for Castlevania Emblem.
That shit.
According to it, the key artist is supposed to be Yamada Kotaro, who did all three Lins and Narshian in Heroes. And
okay, so Yamada. Okay, that's an okay pick.
They could. I think they could pull it off.
They do really good with Lin, but just Narshian, I'm not so sure because he has kind of like some goofy and kind of Looney Tunes level expressions on him.
I think that's the point, though.
I think like that is the point, but it's also to the extent that like if you look at Narshian's damaged art, he looks fucking demonic, and that's why when I first thought of Yamada, I was just like, I don't know if this artist is the guy, and then I looked through his Heroes artwork and I saw his Narshian damaged artwork, and I was like, no, fuck it, I'm in.
Something to remember about Yamada is that like outside of Heroes, like I mean, just Fire Emblem related, he did that awesome Ephraim artwork for Awakening.
Yeah, he did.
This is true.
That is so good. Honestly, of the revived portraits, that's probably my favorite. Alms is up there too, but
I don't know how I feel about Alms.
I like Alms a lot. I really like the posing of Alms. Like he looks ready to fucking go.
Yeah.
He looks like, to me, he looks like a middle schooler who's trying to pull off the emo haircut, but doesn't actually know how to style his hair.
He does look a little young.
Yeah. So Ben, your want is for a new key artist, and then your expectation. I assume this will be a key artist.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie my expectation and my. So I want them to get a new key artist. What I expect, I don't think that they're gonna have Kozaki on for a third run. They might also bring back Hidari. What I'm saying is that I don't think they're gonna get an entirely new key artist. I think they're gonna bring someone back that they've already had work on the series.
So somebody like Wada or Hidari in that case.
It could be Wada, it could be Hidari. Hell, they might bring back Kozaki for another run. I mean, the man's fucking talented.
He is. He's
legendary.
He did all the designs for No More Heroes, and frankly, that game has some of the best character design I think I've ever seen, so...
Awakening has great character design. Like, I'm a little hit or miss on Fates, but I mean, he also did the original characters for Book 1 of Heroes, and like, I think Alphonse, Sharina, Veronica, and Bruno have solid designs. Anna's redesign for Heroes is great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think... He also did all the title screen, how like all the art on the title screen was done by Kozaki, and that art on the title screen for Heroes is all good.
Yeah, I like my personal favorite for that one is Ike's actually.
His Ike was awesome for that.
Yeah.
I do have a thing that I just want to like just throw in here.
Yeah.
So we've all been like, oh well, I'd want this artist, right? We've all gone through that.
Yeah.
Like I haven't thrown in mine, but both of you have. I'm not interrupting anything.
Yeah, no.
So, this is something where I'm just saying I want them to, but I know they're not gonna do it. I know they're not gonna get this guy because he's working on a different project right now. But I really want them to get Shigenori Sawajima of the Persona series.
Okay.
I could see that.
Do you guys know?
I don't see it happening, but I'd be okay with it.
Persona's like take a look at this shit. Like this is in voice chat thing, just real quick.
Like,
it's loading. Just give it time.
If it is the Persona artist, you do run the risk of the stylistic overlap in that case, and
this is true.
On the one hand, he does really fucking good art, but on the other hand, I don't want that art to look like the Persona 5 characters going to a Renaissance fair.
That's right. Yeah, that's fair. Well, the thing about the thing about Sawajima right now is that he is an extremely diverse artist. Like if you look at his own personal art book and you look through everything, he is extremely diverse. He has done numerous different titles that require different looks, different kind of ways that you play with lines and sketching and coloration.
No, and I do think that
oh, he for sure has the range.
I don't think that the thing is like to sort of downplay your fear there, Zerk. I don't think that it would look like the Persona 5 cast going to Renaissance Festival, because the reason the Persona 5 cast looks the way they do is because it's Persona 5.
Yeah,
like
that's certainly
each game feels unique to itself.
Like Persona 5 is just hyper stylized, and they would have the guy do a less stylized look, I feel. Like, unless they just really want to, amp up the art of Fire Emblem 16 and just, like, super fucking go balls deep with it. But, I think they'd have him, dial it back a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, so far we have talked about risk-taking versus keeping things the same, subverting tropes in newer Fire Emblem games versus removing them, and finally adding new blood to the art direction or keeping it in-house.
Yeah.
So, now that we've gone through the rotation, I guess it's back to me for one of my wants, correct?
Yeah, it's your turn, I think.
Okay. So, another want I have is for them to introduce new classes and new skills that are incredibly interesting. My expectation is that they'll do exactly that, but it'll be maybe not to the degree or that I might expect, or it might have some restriction on it like Fates did with the multiple versions and you can only access some classes.
How dare you?
Okay.
We're so disappointed in you.
No, I mean, the last 3 Fire Emblem games and like,
Hey, Fish.
Awakening, Fates, and Echoes have all like done really good, interesting stuff with the skill system. So I can absolutely see them doing more interesting things with the skill system moving forward. Yeah.
I don't see why you're disappointed with me, Fish, because like story isn't the only thing I care about when it comes to Fire Emblem.
Holy
No.
Stop. We're not doing this.
Look.
We're not fucking doing this. Stop it.
Look, Zerk. I do care about more than story, and the reason why is because you, earlier today, you interrupted Ben and I's conversation about the forging system by bitching about how Fates was bad, even though that wasn't even the conversation at the time.
No, like, guys, we can't do this. Stop. Keep it on track.
Yeah, okay.
A good defense.
Anyways,
Keep it on track.
so classes and skills.
No, yeah, I think given the last few Fire Emblems, I absolutely do think that we'll get some really interesting stuff done with the skill system.
I agree. I think what I think the one absolutely fascinating thing to me, at least, that came out of like the Castlevania Emblem leak was how they swapped what Luna and Sol did, and that sounds dope as hell. And that just like, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that you can do a shit ton of stuff with skills. Like, personal skills and Fates were, I think, like, a really good step up for the series in terms of, like, making each character feel more personal, especially from a gameplay sense.
Yeah. To add on to something, to make my expectation a little more unrealistic, sorry, not my expectation, my desire a bit more unrealistic, is I kind of want them to incorporate a version of the skill system that Heroes has. I personally really like the idea of special cooldowns and the SP cost to upgrade skills. I really like that because not only do you have a skill, but you now have a 1, 2, 3 version of that skill, so your skills progress with your class. So it's not just, hey, I learned a new skill. It's, hey, I learned a new skill. Now I can upgrade it to make that skill stronger so that I can proc it more. And it would give like the kind of big-ass skill tree type thing that a lot of other RPGs have. And the reason I like special cooldown charges is because it takes luck out of the equation. Like, sometimes you need a really clutch proc of like ether or whatever, but you could also, but like the reason I like the cooldown is because you can stack your turns in a way so that you can fight enough enemies and you know when you'll double and when you won't double, and if you do it right, you can now proc ether guaranteed on the boss and have an easier time. And it adds a lot of strategy that wasn't there before, and I think it would, I mean, of course, you could just spam your units as usual and then just wait for the skills to proc, like, just in terms of casual play. But, like, really good players will be able to, like, plan their turns out, like, far in advance. And I think it would make the gameplay feel, like, way more streamlined and more definitive in that regard.
You know what, Zerk? I actually, see, See, you said you wanted them to go back to the cooldown system. I was like, well, what would the skill stat do? And then I thought of something, but I actually really like this idea of going with cooldowns instead of random chance. Because the second you said taking luck out of the equation, I was like, oh shit, I know what so like the reason Heroes has cooldown instead of random chance is because the skill stat doesn't exist. And I think what they could do is they could make the skill stat be what determines the special cooldown.
Yeah.
So, like, the higher your skill stat, the lower the cooldown. And, of course, that can vary from special to special to special. Like, Astra could have a range of, like, 4 to 6 cooldown. And, like, if you're, depending on how high your skill stat is, it could be 4 or it could be, like, 6 on the lower end.
See, what I
think... so, like, you separate the... So, typically how skills operate now is it's similar to, like... It's similar to landing a crit.
Exactly.
So, like, whenever you land a critical, you're just like, oh, man, awesome, cool. And whenever you get a skill proc, it's just like, oh, yeah, awesome, cool. So that would add in... So if you add in those cooldown modifiers, or just, like, cooldowns in general, I don't know why I said modifiers, then you could absolutely make skills more a part of gameplay and less a part of RNG, making it actually feel a bit more tactical and less of, like, just gambling.
Yep.
Exactly.
Adding on to what you said with the...
Oh shit, and there can still be crits, and we
there would still be crits.
Oh dude, what if they doubled down on the animations for, like, if you proc a special and a crit at the same time, and
like,
they just
so,
fucking
like what
down.
they did with...
So you have four voice lines. So you know how, like, whenever someone crits, you have, like, 4 voice lines for each character to crit? You would have then 8, because you have 4 for a crit, and then 4 for a skill.
Yeah. And,
also,
then, adding on to
hell,
exclusive animation.
There's actually precedent for the animation thing, now that I think about it, because if you get a crit with Dragon Fang...
I was just about to mention that, yeah. I was about to mention exactly that.
Zerk's like the little brother in the back seat of the car trying to join in on the conversation.
Yeah. Sorry, Zerk.
Yeah,
you just
this is going up on my channel, too. How dare you guys hijack my shit. So anyways...
Get in the fucking back, son.
Ben,
it's my channel now.
Ben,
this is a father-son bonding moment, how dare you.
Ben, adding on to your idea of your skill stat affecting the cooldown charge, what I think is they could do is, like, so let's go with your Astra example. Like, if it has a 4 to 6, actually I think they should raise the cooldown because you're fighting so many more enemies now. So
that is true.
So I think a range of 5 to 8 would be a lot better in that regard. So
fair.
So let's say Astra has a 5 to 8 range. If you have, for every 10 points of skill you have, any activation skill is lowered 1 point of cooldown. So let's
depending on the skill, though.
Yeah, depending on the skill. So let's say, so if you have 30 skill, Astra will have its minimum cooldown of 5.
Of like
I
3.
think locking it down to, like, I think it would have to, vary, and, like, it'd be percentage based rather than like a strict number, like 5 skill equals 1 point of cooldown.
Yeah.
I think it would be a little less strict than that. I think it would be, like, proportionate.
Yeah, okay. That would make sense.
Ooh, I have a thing. I have a question, guys. So,
What's
like...
that?
So, like, you know how in Heroes, whenever your character does an action, like whenever your healer heals a person, or whenever anyone else just attacks a person, then the cooldown for their special skill goes down 1. Would you want that to be how it functions in normal Fire Emblem? Or would you want them to have to kill an enemy before their skill would proc down?
No,
just actions.
It would be action based. And I think because we have more actions, like use an item and stuff like that, they could incorporate that. So if you use an item, you can charge your special.
Dude, wouldn't that be just funny if you could just fucking cheese a boss by, like, going over into the corner, sipping a bunch of vulneraries, and walking over and proccing Aether?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just imagining you
just
bullshit lethality onto, like, the level 10 child unit, and go up to, like, one of the high-level DLC bosses, and you're just, like, you just throw them over there, give them a bunch of drinks, and it's just like, okay, go kill that guy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope, actually.
I love it. I'll take it. Do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's actually a good segue.
Yeah.
If you wanna segue about kid units.
Okay, Fish, what's your expectation and want?
Oh no.
So, my expectations is that kid units are gonna get left in the fucking dirt where they belong.
Thank you.
Because, look, okay, no, I'm gonna backpedal just a quick minute. I actually like some of the kid units as characters. I just really hate the fact that, like, you can literally describe to someone exactly how kid units worked in Fates by using a Simpsons meme. That is a thing you can do. It's like, where's Bart? Oh, he's in the basement. And then it's just like Bart with Kana plastered over his face underneath a laundry bin or something like that.
That's awesome.
Put your baby in the microwave for 2 years.
Insert child into the parallel dimension
No,
for about two weeks,
so
and then come back and they'll have parental development issues.
Okay, so we're thrashing Fates. I was gonna say because Awakening's kids, actually
They were
handled
like
fucking
FE4 and
spectacularly.
Awakening did the kids the best justice, I think, because
Right,
those are the games where the plot actively makes sense to throw them in. Whereas Fates is just like, do we want to have kid units? And then the developers were just like, it's Main Awakening sold well, and then they just threw them in there.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I think it was just more so that like people really liked the mechanical aspect of kids, but like I think they prioritized putting it in as a mechanic before putting it in as like a part of the world.
See what they
I
could do.
feel like that was just one of those moments where gameplay took precedence in a bad way.
See what they could
Yeah.
do to kind of keep the mechanical part of it, but remove sort of the parental part of it, and also help with the medieval aesthetic is perhaps when two characters get married, they take on a squire who they then train, and then that's how the skill inheritance works, because he's being trained by both of the parents, so that way they learn the skills based on that. So the squire takes the role of the child mechanically, but they aren't actually that character's child. So they have the same mechanical benefit, but they're just actually these characters' apprentice.
I think that would be a good baseline, you know?
I'm honestly, I'm just with Fish. I think they should just like
But
I like the inheritance mechanically, but I think they can just drop it.
Just drop it at this point.
I'd personally prefer if they dropped it, but I think like some sort of apprenticeship mechanic would be a good halfway compromise if they really wanted to keep the mechanical value of it.
I do agree, but I
think maybe instead of training, I think
just drop
idea,
it, man.
Instead of like maybe like like if they could have like a couple of trainee units in the game, like a couple of Donalds or Amelias, and like you can like pair said trainee unit with another character to like have them learn that character's skills.
Yeah, for sure.
That could be a way to do it. That would be I mean, fuck. We already have precedent for that with the villagers from Echoes.
Yeah.
Just like more or less totally customizable units.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just if they bring back kids, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
please.
keep it the frick out. Unless you make them all as good as Soleil was, in which case, you know what?
Soleil was
forgive
fucking
you.
excellent. Like, despite that one thing with like the support conversation, Soleil
Let's
was
not
fucking
get into
excellent. Okay, now on to other things. I had to be like, quick thing. I love Soleil and I will give my life for her. Now on to the conversation.
Okay.
I would rob all the stars from the sky for you.
So, Fish, did you have a want, or was your expectation and your want both that they should leave kids in the dust?
My expectation is that kids are going to be left in the dust, and my want is that they will be left in the fucking dust.
Ah. I see. Very big difference.
Big difference.
It's a
I guess
pun
you could call
too,
it a big
if you
fucking
think
difference.
about it.
All right, Ben.
Okay. Here we go. I want full voice acting. I expect accent voice acting.
Okay.
I do not think we're gonna get full voice acting again. I think that I want it so bad. so fucking bad. But I honestly feel like that might be a one and done thing.
To kind of meet you in the middle, I could see full voice acting for the story and the paralog chapters, but not fully voice acted supports or DLC missions.
Just like cut-in lines and shit.
Yeah.
Or like for the inevitable tacked on story DLC, which like legitimately so far for most of the Fire Emblem games has been like fucking amazing. Like, say what you want about like other things, but the DLC has been great. I assume that there will be full voice acting in those story DLC. Like that's just where they're gonna throw the budget.
Yeah. So I think seeing the main story fully voice acted is a very real possibility, but I'm with Ben in saying that the whole game won't be, and I think where we're going to lose out on the voice acting is going to be the supports and maybe the paralog chapters.
That'll depend on how many, like, that'll depend on where they fall and like how many supports they do, because if they keep it as anemic as Echoes was, then they absolutely could do full voice acting and they have no excuse not to.
I really
But if they
hope
want to
don't.
like, if I don't want them to keep the count that low. I want them to give every character like at least a couple. Like, come on, don't give us more Silks and Jennies.
And
like I don't want like I don't want like the overwhelming level of supports and fates to the extent that like you don't know what's muddy and what's not, like you don't know what's good and what isn't. But I also don't want Echoes level supports, because while just about every single support in Echoes is like a piece of gold that you like pick up off the floor and run away with, I want there to be a middle ground. I think like Awakening, Sacred Stones, and FE7 and those games and stuff, I think those games had like a good level of supports where like they had a good balance. Awakening prioritized male and female supports for the shipping aspect, but that's understandable. But like I think if they can do that and have like cut in line voice acting and everything, I think I'll be satisfied.
yeah.
I think really the reason Fates had that problem is just because Fates' cast is just fucking gargantuan.
Yeah.
Like,
It's huge. There were too many characters for.
There's just too many fucking characters.
There were too many characters for that little amount of development time.
Yeah. To kind of add on to just the note of supports and whatnot, avatars, in terms of fully voice acting, I'm not entirely. There's one of two ways they could do the avatar for fully voice acting. The first one is to have a variety of preset names, including the avatar's default name, which will be set into the story, and it would be common names like Mark, Joe, Stephanie, Kathy, stuff
Chris,
like that. Chris, Ben, yeah, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to name,
you can make a perfect Let's Play, Ben.
But if you're,
am I?
It would be like, you will never get away with this.
Hello,
You will never get away
welcome
with
back
destroying
to
our
Fire
country,
Emblem
Ben. And you're just like, huh, that's me. It's a reference to a vine that is not made by me.
Yeah. So what they could do in that regard is just, and then if you name your avatar something else or something that isn't from the list of approved names, they would either skip over it or just refer to you as tactician or lord or whatever.
They could do it.
Street urchin, whatever role.
Where they just go, oh, this guy.
Yeah, I mean, Persona has a really good workaround for it. Like Persona games are fully voice. I don't know the extent of Persona 3 and 4, but I think all the Persona games post 2 are fully voice acted. Or at least during like story segments.
Air quotes fully voice acted.
Yeah, air quotes fully like. Not every flavor text line is voice acted, but like for the most part, like the cutscenes are all fully voice acted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like giving it a workaround, like just playing the pronoun game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was really handy that the main character of Persona 4 was named you.
It's true.
Damn, I never thought about that.
What's hilarious is that whenever I play Persona, I don't name the protagonist myself. I always name the protagonist like their air quotes canon name. And so far my playthrough with Persona 4 has just been like, it's been seamless. It's just been like, so you're just like, and I'm just like, yep, that's his name. Mm-hmm, that's his name.
See, I don't care about the canon names
for
the Persona protagonists. They're Ben Itiono.
That's fine. No, that's fine. Like,
okay,
you can do that with whatever you want. The reason I don't do that anymore is because Fates just kind of like ruined it for me with like, if you name the Fates character after yourself, then it's just like endless pandering in many different places, to the extent that I was just like, I can't do avatars after myself anymore. I can't do it.
Anyways,
I think they absolutely. I mean, if they compromise it like Persona does, I think they can make the the avatar fully voice acted. Like, give us like 2 or 3 different voice actors to choose from for that character, like how Xenoblade X does.
Yep.
Bam, bada bing, bay day boom. We got ourselves an avatar. Bring him back. I love him. Don't leave avatars in the dust, please.
Now, I like how we're all just like, we're all secretly referencing. I gotta plug him. If we reference him enough, we need to plug him. We're all referencing Someone Chose Vines and YouTube videos. Please go to subscribe to his channel, youtube.com/ProZD.
And also go join Crunchyroll with a free 14-day trial.
No, they ain't paying us.
Crunchyroll.com/basement.
No, they're not paying us. Fuck them.
Okay. So on the note of avatars, I think we'll launch into discussing the leaks right after this.
Okay.
Because we're
talking avatars right now?
We're just over an hour, so I just want to touch on avatars really quickly. We'll go around, obviously, in order. I'll start because Ben just finished. The role I want the avatar to take in the story is to be the retainer of the main lord, or a mercenary that the main lord hires very early on. I want them to be chummy with the main lord, but I don't want them to supersede them in terms of role or importance in the story. I want my avatar to be prevalent and speak up when he feels like he should, but I don't want him to go to the front of the carriage, take the reins from the main lord, and said, "I'm driving now, bitch."
So essentially you want, like, Robin, but, like...
Robin before the final arc of Awakening.
Yeah.
Robin before the final arc of Awakening, like...
No, yeah, they absolutely can
absolutely.
do that.
That's exactly
like
what
you said.
I
You
want.
said chummy with the main lord, but not like,
not gay.
I don't want Chris. I don't want till every cutscene to be Chris and Marth just being like, "Oh yeah, baby."
Look, man.
You know just how to talk. You know just how to talk to me, Marth.
Look, man. Marth has PTSD. Okay, he relies on Chris, and Chris relies on Marth because Katarina betrayed him.
Chris is one of Fish's trigger words, Ben. You've set him off.
I fucking hate Chris so much.
It's cool, dude. You can hate whoever you fucking want. It's just so long as it's just like, I hate this character and both of us are just like, we are cool with each other's opinions, then we don't need to fist fight. It's cool.
I just like, whenever I think of New Mystery, I just like, this is the legend of the Hero King Marth. And his boyfriend. Friend, you! God fucking damn it.
Yeah. Oh, that is... as much as I love FE12, I will fully admit that's kind of what it is.
It's God.
Yeah.
See, I'll make points and stuff like that, but like at the same time, I'll also just be like, nah, they're really gay.
They're so gay!
So Fish, what do you think you want the Avatar to take the role of in the story? Also, no amnesia.
I'm gonna be like a broken record here and just kind of repeat what you said. I really want like a Robin character again, because like you can essentially interpret Robin, at least until the final arc. You can interpret Robin however way you want. It's like, even if you're male, like if you're female Robin, you can be like, oh yeah, there's some romantic undertones there if you don't ship them. If you're male Robin, you can be like, oh, there's some gay undertones there and everything like that. Like, it's that's not even a joke. That's not even a joke. That's not even me being like, oh, like,
I love when Robin
they're so
and
obviously
Crom say
gay.
the
It's just like, if you
gayest
want
shit
to
to each
interpret
other.
it like that.
I love when Robin and Crom say the gayest shit to each other, and Insis is just like, but they're just friends.
Okay, so like,
I made a post when Warriors came out, and I said I can confirm Robin and Crom still have gay undertones.
Oh, they
so
so
do.
gay in Hero.
They so do.
Not Heroes, Warriors.
they're gay in Warriors too. I love how Robin's just like, I've been having a great time, but where's
Crom,
Crom?
I love you.
It's not as obviously gay as like Soren and Ike, where it's just like they even like it's gay and all, but like it's the only way it isn't gay is in the fact that Intelligent Systems doesn't tell you directly that they're like, when they went off together, they went off gaily.
Ike and Soren are absolutely bumming it.
Like, people can go, oh, why does Tumblr make them gay? This is not a Tumblr thing. This has been a thing in, like, every single community of Fire Emblem, where it's just like, whenever you bring up Ike, it's just
same,
like, okay, but listen, we need to, where is his boyfriend okay?
I mean, Soren's summoning quote as Heroes in Heroes are just like,
Where the ass at?
Where's my boyfriend?
It's the same goddamn thing with Raven and Lucius too.
Oh my god. Did you see? I love Oscar just post, like, he screen capped the Bound Hero battle perfectly to have Raven says, like, Lucius, I want you to get back so that I can handle these people, but like he just crops it, says Raven says, Lucius, I want you. It's like, yeah, we know.
It's like, when I first played Fire Emblem 7, this was like a month or two after I got back into the series with Awakening, and this was several years after my incident at summer camp that has now become infamous.
Okay.
If you want to hear about that incident, go to youtube.com slash Pavis Protection.
Keep going, sir. Keep going.
And when I first played Fire Emblem 7, I hired Raven, and at this point I've been pretty active online with the Fire Emblem community, so I knew that there was supposedly gay undertones between these guys, but I'm like, I wasn't buying it. Lynn and Florina are nowhere near as gay undertones as they made it out to be. So I'm like, I wasn't thinking with Raven and Lucius, and then I did their support, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are so gay.
Holy shit, they're so gay.
It's like the minute you read it. I remember the minute I actually went into FE7 thinking that, like, believing for a fact that Raven and Lucius were gay, and to this day I will still wholeheartedly say, no, they are gay. Just as I do with Soren and Ike. But when I first read it, when I finished through it, I was like, huh, I wonder why there aren't gay ships in Awakening and Fates.
There are lots of those.
There's like 2 in Fates, and that's it.
I think the only character who is more gay than Ike and Soren and Raven and Lucius is Leon, and he's like actually openly gay.
He is openly gay. Echoes has like very few supports, but that is like the most diverse cast in terms of like sexuality and everything that we have ever had.
Soleil is also very, very gay.
Well,
Lucas is asexual.
As is Sonya, arguably.
No, he's not. He's either. I don't. Let me think about this. I don't know if he's asexual so much as he is like aromantic.
I don't like using the word asexual.
He's
for
just
that,
ace.
Because whenever I hear that, I'm just like, so Sonya reproduces via my choices.
He's just. I'll say it like this. I know for a fact that Lucas is in fact ace. I just don't know which one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Important update right now, happening live. The Oliver Grand Hero battle just dropped.
Oh dear God. Okay, so now that Oliver and his wonderful beauty have dropped on our heads, I think we should talk about some other kind of beautiful disaster, and that is the rumored leaks for Vampire Emblem.
God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Hey guys, did you know that the Avatar is gonna take a more villainous role this time around?
And they're gonna be a Camus type anti-hero?
God,
No, that's no. That's the other Lord, man.
Oh.
I fucking
Get your lore right.
I hate Vampire Emblem so much.
I don't know why
I was
about that.
God, I was down as fuck with it at first, and then the longer I thought about it, the more I thought, nah, this is shitty.
It's like so detailed that like at first you think it's real, like it couldn't possibly be this detailed and then be fake, but then like the more you just read into it, you're like, yeah, no.
No, I mean Pokemon. I mean, as someone who follows Pokemon releases, like
religiously,
like Tharcha follows Robin, like these
man,
kinds
that's
of
a lot.
like hyper detailed like pitches for games are so commonplace in fake leaks.
Yeah. And I think there's just so much suspiciousness surrounding it. The big one for me is that the rumored class of the dude in the human kingdom is Errant Knight, and apparently Errant Knight was also a class in some ROM hack that some guy was planning on Serenes. And that's a huge red flag for me.
There's also the fact that Mengs made a video on it, and then the person made either like an attachment post or like posted it somewhere else, and they said, OMG, Meng Senpai noticed me, and then they listed more things, and that's like, that was the moment where like there wasn't even a red flag anymore. I just fucking booked it.
Yeah. And that's super suspicious. But the thing is, we don't even know if that's the original leaker or some attachment post or some other cohort or an alternate account, because with how 4chan works, as I understand it, they delete their backlog. So the only thing we really have to go on are screen caps of the original post, which may or may not be edited. So it's really hard to pinpoint anything with this leak, in all honesty. But just the leak as a concept, regardless of validity, my opinions on it are it seems a little edgy and out there. It is taking the risk that I said that they should take and what I want them to take, but at the same time, it just feels like they took Nor, found the dial for Edge, turned it up to 11, set it on lock, pulled the dial out, and then ran away screaming, crawling in my skin.
I don't like Vampire Emblem. It's just like for a couple of reasons. First, it's way too fucking edgy. Like it's too edgy. I don't like this, like the big red flag for me with the Vampire Emblem leak was that, like, specifically it said at one point in it was like, oh, Intelligent Systems wants to bridge the gap between newcomers and veterans. I'm like, Intelligent Systems doesn't give a shit about the gap between newcomers and veterans.
The thing, whenever somebody,
because that's not the only schism in the Fire Emblem fan base. They don't give a shit.
When you mentioned that wording, Intelligent Systems, the only time they've ever referred to anything close to that is on the original pre-release Fire Emblem Fates webpage, where in the description for weirdly Birthright and not Conquest, they said, Birthright offers a more traditional Fire Emblem experience that longtime players of the series will be more used to, allowing for grinding within the maps and a free roaming structure.
They're not wrong, long time, because that is correct, because Conquest is very against the grain, like as far as its map structure goes. So I do think calling Birthright a quote-unquote more traditional Fire Emblem experience isn't too far of a stretch.
But that's the closest they've ever referred to a new versus old skin.
Yeah, that's the closest they've ever come to being like, hey guys, everyone will like this one. It's like, fucking, they don't care. Like, I don't get why people are like think that Intelligent Systems needs to, like,
bridge the gap.
Like,
Yeah, no.
They don't need to bridge the gap, because the gap isn't that big of a fucking deal.
Yeah, at the end of the day, despite how great intelligence systems are at listening to fans, they still want to make money. So they're going to aim for the biggest audience possible.
They're gonna try. They're gonna try and make something that's unifying.
It's not their job to. It's like I said this with like the lead up to Warriors, like how people like claimed it to be a quote PR disaster. It's not their job to put out fires that people start. It's not their job.
Yeah.
Like, intelligence systems didn't need to go to everyone and be like, no, Marth isn't the only Shadow Dragon character. And they don't need to go into this game thinking, alright, how can we make everyone happy?
Yeah.
They don't. And they shouldn't, because that brings us, like...
I still think that the information flow in Warriors was a big problem. But...
Absolutely.
And that's where I personally think that the PR disaster comes from, was because of how terrible the information flow was.
I think that they gave us, they gave us a ton of great stuff from interviews and stuff, but no one was looking at interviews.
Yeah.
Ever. And if people did look at interviews, they misconstrued quotes.
Yeah.
Like,
and actually,
that whole we don't have old characters because there's too many swords. Like, that's not a thing anyone ever said.
As from what I understand, the too many swords was actually a simplification / mistranslation, and
the too many swords thing was the too many swords thing was what they said in response. They didn't want Fire Emblem Warriors to just be lords.
Yeah, they wanted a variety. The actual quote, as I understand it, was they wanted variety in terms of classes, not weapon types. So like, if you have just lords, you're gonna have like the 4 guys who promote into cavalier units. I guess you have Hector for armor, and then everybody else is an infantry sword unit.
You have like a million sword footies.
Not Ephraim.
You have Ephraim, who's a lancer and a lance cav. You have Hector, who uses an axe. I guess Micaiah as a mage, Robin as a mage,
and then Corrin with his dragon powers.
Exactly. Like you don't. Pretty much every lord in the series is a sword footy.
Yeah, and the lord in Fire Emblem 16 will likely also be a sword footy as well.
Unless you're Ike, then you're just guts.
Yeah, Ike is just guts. Radiant Dawn Ike is literally just guts, or he's an edgy guts fanboy who goes to the gym after school every day just to try and get jacked.
He's a guts fanboy who does a really good job.
Yep. So that's is that everything everybody has to say about Vampire Emblem?
I do.
Or
oh, okay. I thought you were about to wrap up the whole thing, because I was gonna if we're done with Vampire Emblem, let's talk about Pirate Emblem.
One Piece.
What? One Piece? Fuck.
I had to say it. I'm sorry.
So
what's Pirate Emblem?
So have either of you heard about the rumored Fire Emblem mutiny?
Is this where we're finally gonna have Shanty Pete as the final boss?
I saw the freaking it was like the like leaked title image.
No. That was a mock-up someone made.
Okay.
No. That was just something someone made for the sake of a clickbaity thumbnail. There are no assets leaked for it.
See,
quote unquote, like leaked or made. It's just
was this ripped trademark data?
No.
Okay.
Fire Emblem Mutiny is something that it's another one of those 4chan leaks. Like, someone was posting about a direct on the 11th, which happened, where they would open the direct with the announcement of Fire Emblem 16, which would be Fire Emblem Mutiny, a pirate aesthetic Fire Emblem. And partly, I don't believe it's fake, primarily because Oscar, I'm dropping him a lot, but he just outright said that Vampire Emblem and Fire Emblem Mutiny are both just totally fake.
Yeah. See, trademark data so far has been, like, you bring up Pokemon a lot, and I want to bring Pokemon Sun and Moon were trademark data that we knew about several weeks before their announcement.
Days. Literally the day before the proper announcement, we got the logos for Sun and Moon.
Okay, because trademark data is, in my opinion, what you should follow if you really want to know, like, leaks, and like that's where you should.
No, yeah, trademark stuff is absolutely reliable.
Yeah,
like
although,
back when
trademark
Destiny.
Data, it is reliable, but at the same time, it can also be misleading because Game Freak does own the trademarks for Pokemon Gray.
They also own the trademarks for Delta Emerald. I think there's a trademark for Pokemon Opal.
Z, I believe Pokemon Z also has a trademark.
There was a trademark for like Pokemon Sun and Moon there's also a trademark for Pokemon Rainbow.
Yeah. Like they trademark other stuff so that you can't make fan games of it, I think.
They trademark that stuff just for the sake of covering their bases.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think trademarks, regardless of some of those misleading ones, are definitely where you should look. And I think because Fire Emblem only did the multiple versions thing once, and I think with the backlash, they probably aren't going to do it again. And especially on the Switch, now that they have a lot more hardware and memory to work with, I don't think they'll need to do multiple versions again either. So I think trademark data, specifically for Fire Emblem's case, will be really reliable, and that's something we should really pay attention to in the coming weeks and months leading up to what possibly could be a reveal either before the end of January, in early March at a Switch 1 year presentation, or at the very latest E3.
No, yeah.
Fish, you got anything to say about that stuff?
So back when I used to be like a really big Destiny fan back during like Destiny's first year, and people called the Taken King like 2-3 months in advance before it even was, like, before it came out, and about a month before it was announced, because Bungie, the studio in charge of Destiny, they trademarked what is called Oxblood marks, and that was the symbol that they were using for the Taken King. And so that's how everyone figured out, okay, this is probably what they're going to use.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just pointing out an example of trademark data being useful.
Yeah. Trademark data is probably what we should follow. As for a Pirate Emblem game, I personally think that an archipelago/seafaring adventure can work really well if each of the islands are really defined, and there's good ship mechanics, like
maps,
like
ship mechanics,
like if it's actually like a sailing mechanic in the game. I think the aesthetic would be kind of wasted just as a purely aesthetic thing if they didn't integrate it into gameplay somehow. Like if you just like chart a course and then you like pick on a map screen where your boat goes to whatever island, I think that'd be kind of lame and a bit of a cop-out. But if like we actually get to drive the boat and like build a crew and assign jobs to like make our travel more efficient, and you have so many travel days, and each travel day has a % chance of encounter, and then you'll fight a boat map in there, like I think if they actually incorporate the actually traveling on a ship as a mechanic in the game to make it feel like you're on a high seas adventure, I think that could really work in the game's favor if they are going to go with Pirate Emblem.
You know what else would be a good idea that they could take out of Echo's book?
Boat maps.
Boat maps.
Please stop with the boat maps. I know Fire Emblem loves its boat maps. I love boat maps aesthetically, but stop with the boat maps.
What I find hilarious is, so I told Zerk this story, but Ben, do you know the story about my experience, about my friend and I's experience with Echoes' use of boat maps?
God.
So Echoes, for those of you for the people at home who don't know,
for the viewers at home,
For Kyle.
So for those of you who
gotta
don't
add
know,
him with this video.
I almost said Celica's first arc, her first chapter has like 5. There could be more or less about five boat maps. Afterwards, Echoes, like, this is an original Gaiden, and so that's why boat maps are a meme. Echoes took it a step further, and I am humanly hurt by the fact that people didn't make a bigger deal of this. The epilogue to Echoes has, like, I want to say, like, 6 more fucking boat maps.
No!
Because my friend and I were playing, and he beat the game. I haven't beaten Echoes personally. I got up to the last boss, and I lost, and I was just like, nah. And so I beat it with a friend. He beat it, and we're on the epilogue. And we beat the first boat map. And then there's the second boat. And we're like, what the fuck? And then there's a second boat. There's a third boat. And then there's a fourth boat. And we look through, and it goes over to a different continent. And we're like, yeah, that's cool, but like, how many boat maps are these?
Hey, where are you? I'm at boats. What do you mean you're at boats? I'm at the boat map. Why are you fighting canters on a boat map? Fuck you!
Stop yelling at me!
Alright, you don't have to shout. I'm so tired of boats.
Oh my god.
Get rid of them.
Code GS memes are wonderful. Fates is just
get rid of the fucking boat map.
Where are you right now?
Take a goddamn
I'm killing Grima.
Yeah.
Okay, are you finding it okay? No, there's just boat maps.
Yep.
It's just boats.
It's just boat. I'm at boat.
Go to the next map. There's more boats.
I'm gonna have to fucking cut this.
What do you mean there's more boats?
We have to stop.
I'm gonna have to fucking
this is a great
cut this
meme,
shit.
but we have to move on.
I'm gonna have to fucking cut this shit. I don't know, I might leave
No, come on.
Actually, you know what? I'll cut it.
Spoil!
I'll cut it and then I'll upload this as its own video, just us talking about
I'm cool with that. No,
That's
send
cool.
it to Naz. Naz is meme king.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's, does anybody have any useful comments about Pirate Emblem?
I do.
Don't make it.
I do have a legitimate criticism. My issue with Pirate Emblem is that they could absolutely have the diversity to do a whole lot with Pirate Emblem. Like, they could have like a legitimate navy from a kingdom that like you need to watch out for. They could have like war between different factions of pirates, and you could be like a part of a pirate. But my criticism with that is, are they going to do something cool like that, or is it just going to be like, the naval empire is the bad empire, and we need to stop the navy, and
we're on a boat, and it's time to go fight the evil boats.
Like, I want there to be like legitimate infighting between like different factions of pirates who just need the money to survive, and you both get to a place first, and so you're fighting over who's going to loot the village in the village while people are running out of the village. That sounds dope. What I don't think sounds dope is you're going to the village to loot the village, and the Navy's just like, you can't do that. We own this place.
You couldn't have said that in a funnier way. You could not have humanly said that in a funnier tone of voice. No, don't do that.
No, don't do that. We own this place.
God fucking damn. Alright.
Like the main villain's gonna be like some big fucking seafarer guy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm Shanty Pete! And everyone's just like, oh shit, he is real.
He's real!
He's real! Shanty Pete is the final boss of Pirate Emblem.
Alright, I think we have about run out of things to talk about.
Okay.
At this point,
we're
I think
memes at this point.
So Fire Emblem 16 will be about pirate vampires. It will take place in a snowy.
No!
It will take place in a snowy kingdom. There will be
on Mars.
And they're gonna have guns.
there'll be kids. There'll be kid units who go through the holodeck from Star Trek: The Next Generation to grow up.
And they'll have to struggle with the qualms of growing up in Japanese high school.
Yes.
And Anakana is the main lord.
And
absolutely
Kyle's not here to do it. I had to do it for him.
I'm glad he cut out.
I'm not doing that. Zerk, close this out.
Okay, yeah.
No, come on. Do we have one? Wait, hang on. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
No, we don't.
You kind of ended the conversation forcefully, Fish. Anyways.
Okay, anyways.
I'll let my other two people plug themselves, and then I'll wrap this up.
Alright, I'm Ben. I make videos. Sometimes they're about video games, but I recently made a video about anime.
You fucking
Who's on
weeb.
Anohana, who's actually pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't
Fucking
watch
weeb.
Fish does nothing.
I don't.
Does nothing.
I don't.
Fish has a Twitter.
I don't
He does
do
nothing. He
Follow
doesn't-
me
he
on
doesn't have a
Twitter.
YouTube
Twitter.com/rotted_fish. Yeah, you won't find anything interesting. It's not worth it.
He follows Q, I guess.
I'm starting a YouTube channel. Subscribe to me at youtube.com/fish.
I'm gonna look that up.
Like, do it right now
now,
while
and
we're still on here to see if that's like a legitimate thing you can find.
And
404 not
and I'm
found.
gonna and
As expected.
and finally, I'm ZerkMonsterHunter 4, your very reluctant host of this disastrous podcast. And
It's a fucking disaster. It's awesome.
and
I loved it. I had a better time than if we were organized.
guys, let me do my cringy ass ending shtick. Come on.
Come on, guys. Let me finish this.
and
off.
as always,
That's really mean.
happy hunting.
And no matter what you think Fire Emblem 16 will be, as always, happy hunting.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, suck my
no,
dick.
it's over, Fish. He already stopped recording.